Okay. So because of our time, I'm going to just create a table now. Let me share my screen. Yes, so this is a schema for creating table. Whenever you wanted to create a table in SQL before, what we start with is create table. Then create table, you name the name of the table. So this is just like a very simple query for creating this table. So I want to create this table in the sales database now. So the name of this thing is Superstore. Then I want to give it order ID. So if you check the data set very well, these are the columns that we have there. We have the order ID, we have the order date. Sorry. We have the order ID, we have the order date, we have the order priority. So everything that we have on this table must actually tally with what we create here. So anything that is on there is better for us to remove it. So we have the order ID, and it must be in the same order. So we have the order ID, we have the order date, we have the ship date, we have the ship mode, we have the customer ID, the customer name, and or so we have the profit. So the ones that I don't have here, it's better for me to just remove it. I don't have this order priority, so this is leaving. And I have the other dates. I have the sales. Let me see other thing that I have here. I have the region, product category, subcategory, product name, quantity, sales estimate, and I have the profit too. So now for those that probably are not familiar with creating a table, this thing. So the first thing, whenever you are creating a table, you state the name of the columns in the table. So the first thing is the name of the column. And this other one that we have here is the data type of that column. So this one is a varchar, variable character, and it is of length 20. That's why we put 20 here. Other date is date, ship date is date, and ship mode is variable character, customer ID variable character, customer name variable character, state is variable. All of that ones are variable character. So the length of the variable character, that is the maximum length that that particular column can take, is what we put inside the bracket for this thing. So, and if you are actually expecting so much, you can actually exceed the probably add more thing to it. Probably you want to make it like maybe 60, 100, 200, 300, stuff like that, depending on the size of the data that is going to be fit into that particular column. So that is what we did here. And after we're done, we are going to run this to create the table. Are we sure that's everything? Let me be sure. Ship mode, discount, customer ID. So let's go. You have to hold on. Let me just see how I can generate this. Hold on. Let me see how I can generate this with Bible ChatGPT that can actually give me fast query. Uh, okay, great. Yeah, so I have something here now. Hold on for sure my screen. All right, great. Now, yes, we have it now. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything so as to make it fast. Now, this is the data type that we have now. We have the row integer and everything like that. So what I need to do is just create this table and just run it. So after doing that, then I can come to the schema here. Now the public, come to table. So I have the superstore this thing here now. And is there now. So after that, the next thing for me is to now bring in my data. So I'm going to just call import. So import is just to bring in the CSV file. So first of all, I have to save this data. Yeah. So I've saved it. I close the thing and I come here because I'm importing, I'm not exporting. So you select the file name from your laptop. I think this is it. Then click OK. And after that, you just click OK. It's as easy as that. Okay, something's wrong. Let me just run it now. Let me refresh this thing and see how that works. And that's how you're going to bring in your data set. So select star from what's the name of the table self? Superstore sales. I'm with you. Oh god, our data is unloaded. Someone is raising up. Yeah, you can go ahead and speak.
Okay, I noticed that you added role ID, but I didn't see the role ID in the database.
Okay. Who ID is there? Hold on. Let me check. Who ID is there? I saw row ID. Who ID is there?
Okay, I think the first one, role
Yeah,
ID, INT. Okay.
yeah, row ID is there. Yes. So this is not giving us this thing, so it's empty. Let's see what we did wrong. The rule ID is there. Let me refresh this thing again. Object, view. Okay. Let's run it again. Okay, let's restore. This thing does not work. Let's do it again. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the import was not
Okay,
successful. So it wasn't the
okay, go
table
ahead.
wasn't populated. Yeah, I think you have to do that again. The table was not populated.
Okay. Thank you. What's the process? Copying the table field. Server. Let me see what's the problem here. Why does it feel though? This also failed. Hold on, please. What are we doing wrong? Hold on, just a minute. Okay, integer. So let's check it. Let me check the data type and be sure that the data type I have here is actually correlated with what I have there. Product based margin. Let me pull the file again. Excel.
Could we like quickly use pandas for the CSV? So we just get the columns and just compare. Since you
From
said the
pandas, right?
yeah, you said the columns have to be the same. So if we use
Yes.
pandas to create a data frame, we can just like check the columns and the
Okay.
type, the data. I think
All right. Let's quickly use panda then. Okay, I think that's gonna be another thing for us, everybody to learn. So let's use panda. So let me quickly bring in my data in Python. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, why is this thing? Let me try for the last time. It's not any. It's not restore. Okay. Maybe the data is large. CSV file is not encoded. Coded is just CSV file. Okay. Let's quickly use what's it called now? Let's quickly use Python to check some things out. So for those that are this thing, let me quickly just bring in this what's it called now? Collab. Let me bring in Collab now. Okay. And go we are learning. So imports pandas. Can you all see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I want to bring in the data in this particular in Python so as to get the columns of the data set that I can use it for creating my data from. Maybe the column does not match. So the thing I want to do now is I want to bring in the CSV file. So I want to mount the whole thing. Let me just copy this code briefly. So I can just bring in the data sets and collab. Okay. So as so the so this is going to bring in the file. So this is it. I'm thinking is the size of the data set. Let me see whether Postgres has a limit to amount of data it can bring in. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking, but it shouldn't be the size. It shouldn't be the size. So okay. What do you say? Hello?
No. Sorry, not you. Sorry.
Okay. Bring file to. I'm trying to see if there's a limit to Postgres. Okay. There's no limits. There's no limit. So the next thing is just to load in the CSV file. So that would be data goes to pd dot read underscore CSV. Then the name of the what is this dots. Then the name of the data set I think is okay. I think is it. So I'll try to load this thing in. I think everything is together. So what's going on with that wrong? No such file directives.
You can click the side and see the three dotted
What
lines. You can just
the
see
three?
the file. Yeah, we can see the file on the left panel. You can just see the file you
Yes.
just uploaded on the left panel. You see what is named that.
Yeah, I sample your data for this is a sample. That's what I just put in. Okay, sample. Okay. Sorry, my bad. Um, comma encoding equals to can decode. Is it Latin one? Oh my god. Yeah, let me use Latin one first. Latin one. Hold on. Yes. So data the head. Okay, data the columns. I'm thinking probably is the encoding that is actually making the Postgres to do anything. So the
You can just,
columns. What do you say?
I was thinking just describe, then it shows the column and the data type, and we can just compare it.
Copy it from there, Abby.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you do
that's good.
like describe, yeah, it shows the column anyway.
Okay. No, I think it should be info.
Info, yeah, sorry, info, not describe.
Info. Okay. So we have integer. We have all this. Okay, let's just copy this thing and let me go and change everything there. I copy this thing. Copy this thing. Let's just do like this. And hope every one of them is still with us. we are doing Python inside SQL, so I'll let me. And then I don't want to. Let me just say create table. Say super superstore sales. So we have this. So let me paste this thing here. Oh Jesus, I've varied my book. Back to this. Copy this. It's nonsense. Bring it back. Just basically. Yeah, just edit. So this one is integer. It's correct. But I think everything is correct though. Look at it. Integer, variable character. Oh, I think it's the order quantity. The order quantity integer, discounts, floats. Yeah, this is actually correct. Product container, variable character, product name. Yeah, the thing is correct. It's just that I don't know why it's doing that. This cannot work. All right, so drop table, sales, pastor, let's go sales. I want to try whether this is the issue. Probably the color name has to match exactly. So that's without check. I know it's going to go. So I think the issue is this. The issue is with the naming of the data frame. We know that the name has to actually match exactly. And the name I created from the data table has like underscore with like ship mode, profit, unit price. But in this one we have space. You get what I'm saying? Is everyone with me? What's the score? Yes. So I think that's it. That's the issue. The issue is with the naming of our Excel database. So let me try if I can actually just do something like that with this. Let me quickly create this Excel. Let's see whether we can do something like that. Let me see whether it's going to work. Underscore underscore. It's a very worked underscore. Underscore. Let's just try out. I just want to show what score shipping costs. segments, customer name, customer segments. This thing does not work there, then I have to go and look into it personally, but I believe it should work by now. Underscore, underscore, underscore. Okay. Underscore. Yes, I think we are good to go now. Underscore. Yeah, let me save this. Fantastic. Yeah, I think we are all good. So, sample study. So let's go back to this and try to do the same thing. And I control Z everything I've done. Sha. Yes. So this should be underscore, underscore, underscore. Yes, I think we are good. So let me run this again and see whether we're going to get the same answer. Fingers crossed. Should work. Subcategory, subcategory. Just again. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. So we have that one now. So let's go back to this. Let's change the file. Let's make a new one. Let's just hope this one works. Let's see, have Latin one. Let's like collapse. This thing has not populated. Search. Okay. Drop table. Sorry, hold on. Sorry again. Okay. Happy now. Why is it not bringing a cool up? Is it not choice? Yes. No, no. I'm trying to get this. Hold on first. I'm the I don't know the magic this one is performing. But let's try it again. It goes. Let me refresh my old database because this is acting funny now. No, 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 no. Cancel. I need this thing. To see. It's bad. Okay, great. Let me refresh my Postgres. Hold on. Yes. Admin. Yeah. Yes, we have it now. I was not doing like something before. So let's bring in this data now and import. Let me first of all use ordinary one. That one works. Okay, let's use Latin one. Okay, seems not to be working. Now we have to actually make use of other things. Oh my god. Yes. So is anybody Postgres working there? Do anybody have your Postgres on there? Anybody? So let me just share the thing with you. Try from your end there. Let's know whether it's from my end, maybe it's from my installation. So I'm going to share the thing with you. So I'm going to share the code to the query to the chat now for you to just work with. And I'm going to share let me just share it. So try this. Your hand there. Boy, this thing is now products. So let me just stop it here. Product category. Products of category. So copy that one, products of category. Let me copy the other one. So work with that and the file. See where I can share file. I don't think there's a way I can share file. Let me share file. Let me send the file to the group page. That's right, that's it. So for those that just try that your end there, I will share the file to the group page. That's right, try it. Connect to. Okay, sharing the file to the group page now already. Okay. So documents. Okay, you can get it now. So moving on, try it out. Let me know whether it works from your end, but that would not actually stop us from doing what we're supposed to do. Now, moving on, let's just continue with our data set that what we have here. I'm still going to look into this and come out with my own issue. I feel like it might be the problem because I don't really know what the issue is with this. So trying to look into it to see what probably might be the issue. So I really don't know. So try and let me know if you get the same thing from your end there. Let's try it. Okay, but moving on, let's leave this one for a while. Now moving on to what we have, to other things that we talk about. So let's just deal with our Danny's dynamic for now while we're trying to sort that out. So the next thing we want to talk about now is aggregate function. So aggregate function is very, very important when you are, especially for data analysis, because we are going to be crunching or munging a large set of data to actually get some single values. So, for example, I'm talking about the types of the likes of counts. I'm talking about the likes of sum and the likes. So, how do we do aggregate functions with this? So, we have separate aggregate function. We have the count. We have the sum. We have the what's the other one? Sum, count, average, and the likes like that. Some average, maximum, and minimum. So these are various functions that we have in this. Now, before I really move on to this class, I think we are just like 10 here. Please, how many of us here are beginner? Let me just start ask like that. So I want to know what I'm to. How many of us are beginner? Okay, if you are a beginner, okay, okay, Betty, okay, 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 okay. So, okay, all right. So yeah, so I know the people I'm dealing with now. So this is what I'm going to do. For those that are beginner, I think the people that are actually consistent in the class is the people I'm going to be attending to moving forward. I don't want to be just waste my energy like that. So for those that are beginner, now this part that we're about to talk about now, please, I need you to pay very good attention to it. So we talk about the average, this aggregate function. Whenever you're aggregating in SQL, for example, now I said, I'm still using the Danny designer. So let's say, for example, select star from sales like this. Select star from sales. Now we have the not this one, which is sales. I'm looking for the last price. Um, it's not menu, it's menu. Let me just select star from menu. Now we have the price. We have the price here. So if I want to find the total, what's the total price of all the products like sold in Dan Designer, I can do something like this. Select sum, then I put a bracket, the price. Now I'm going to use alias. Remember the alias we talked about the other time, like you renaming a column. So this one is going to be as maybe total price. That's the renaming. Okay, then I'm going to do from the menu table. Now look at this now. When I run him, he's only giving me a single number. So he has crunched the price and returned a single number. What of if I want to now get probably the total by, let's say I want to get the total by, I'm looking for another column that I can explain. This one has only 3 data sets. It might not be enough for what I'm doing. Hold on. Let me quickly just use this data as an example, another database as an example, so that you can understand what I'm saying very well. Although we are still going to practice that with this Superstore data set when we figure it out, but not to waste our time today. So let me use this DVD rental. So the DVD rental has so many databases. There's a table in the DVD rental known as select star from payment. So let me quickly show you what we have here. The DVD rental database. If you click on DVD rental, you come to schema and you come to table. So we have different tables. That we have the actor table. It's just the data is about a particular store that rent out DVD films, like DVD films, back then. So these are the information they collected. We have the actor table, addresses and stuff like that. They have the payment table. And if you check the payment table from this place, payment table just contains the payment transaction by each customer. So we have the amount, we have the what's it called, the payment ID, the customer that made the payment, the staff that collected the amount and rent ID and stuff like that. So if I did something like select sum into brackets amount, that's what we have there, as total amount from payment. So we have this total thing. Now, this is just this simple query is because it's actually adding up everything that we have in the table and returning just one. That is why this is like this. Whenever you are using aggregate function and you're aggregating based on the column, you have to follow it by group by. That's what I want to talk about now. So now, whenever you use aggregate function, group by follows. This is the only exception where we don't use group by with aggregate function. And the reason why we are not using group by with aggregate function, we are not aggregating on any particular category. We are just finding the total together. Let's now say I want to find out what is the total what's it called now? Total amount. Select star from payment. Just let me get the overview of the data set again so as to know what I'm to do. Now, let's say for example, now I want to know the amount of total transaction made by each customer so far. You understand now? Different customer will have come like multiple times to actually transact with them to rent DVDs and stuff like that. So I want to know the total amount that each customer actually was spent in that particular store. So how do I do that? Then I'm aggregating the amount on the customer. So it's going to be something like this. Select customer ID, comma, sum of amounts as total amount from payment. Now, whenever you have a query like this, then you have to follow it by group by. Now, the reason why we are using group by is because we are finding the total amount for each customer because we are getting the total amount based on the customer ID. So it's going to find the total amount for customer A, for customer B, for customer C. In that case, we have to use the group by function. Then I'm going to use the group by. Don't mind using uppercase and lowercase, doesn't really mean. Group by customer ID. So customer ID. Are you following me? Do you understand this thing I'm doing right now? Please, you need to understand this part because we are going to be building on this one. Then you see now, then is actually aggregating the total amount by each customer. So customer 184 has actually spent total amount of $80, 87. Let me just order this thing, sending order by what's it called now? Order by customer ID. Then I'm sending order, so that's gonna be that. And you can see customer 1 has spent this amount, customer 2 has spent this amount, and like that. So this is what we talk about when you are creating on a column. Please, do we understand this part?
No.
You don't understand? Thank you.
No, I do not
Yes,
understand.
thank you. So, thank you. I saying you understand because this is what we are going to be building on. Now, you understand this first question, this part that actually just returns total amount. So what this query does, the first one, what it does is this. From this payment table, you just go ahead and add all the amounts that you have on this, all the value that you have, the amount, you add everything together. And that is what this column return, this one here. So we don't need to group by anything because we are just adding everything together. But let's say now, my manager or line manager reach out to me that, okay, he wants to know the total amount by each customer. That is, he wants to know the total amount that each customer actually invested or spent in their store. Do you get what I'm saying? Just like, for example, now, let's say Ifeoluwa and Aisha, probably you guys go to McDonald's a lot and you buy a lot of stuff, you buy a lot of things from there. Now, they wanted to do it kind of like maybe they want to reward their best customers in terms of like they want to give them discount based on because they've transacted with them in the past. Sorry. Sir. Just a bit, please. Okay, I'm back. So let's, for example, now, if Oluwa and Aisha actually buy a lot of McDonald's, like they go there a lot and buy everything. So they want to reward their customer, and they were like, okay, let's look at who are the customer that actually has transact the most in terms of amount that have spent the most with us in a couple of years or in the past few years. So as a data analyst, you go to the database engine for you to know the total amount that each customer has spent. Then you have to actually put the customer name, comma, the total amount. So what this one is going to do is that it's going to aggregate this customer amount by each customer. That is the total amount that each customer has spent. So that is why I'm aggregating the total amount based on each customer. So the category that is breaking the total amount is on each customer. So what it's going to do, customer A is going to add up everything for customer A, put the value there. For customer B, is going to add up everything for customer B, put the value there. Do you get me? Do you get what I'm trying to explain here? Are you with me? Are you following me?
Yeah. So this also does not need aggregate, just like the first example.
Yes.
Oh,
So the first example is also aggregate, but this one that we are doing now, if you are just summing everything together, we are not aggregating based on the category. What I mean by category is like based on the column. We are not aggregating based on the column. We are just summing everything up. That's the first one. That is why this one does not need anything like group by.
all right.
But this one, the second one we are trying to do here now is I'm trying to break the total amount by each customer to know the total amount spent by each customer. So that is why I'm saying customer ID, sum of amounts. So it's going to now add up every amount that each customer have spent. Then if I'm aggregating based on that, then I have to put group by in my code. That is why the group by has to be there. So another example is this. Let's say, for example, I want to know let's just leave it this way before I go to that one. So if I run this, what this one is doing is this. So that by is there now. Just remove that, sorry. Order by customer ID. Now see now. If you check the original table is just like the breakdown of everything that each customer has spent. If I check customer one from the original table, you can see probably for this particular date, he came to the store to actually rent a movie with so amount. So what I'm trying to do in essence is like what is the total amount that each customer has spent so far, and that is what this query is doing. And if you now look at it now, I will get that okay, this is the total amount that this one has spent $114. Customer two has spent $103. This is what we know as aggregating on the column, and I'm aggregating on the customer ID. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Someone else.
so I wanted to ask, what's the difference between the group buy and order buy? Because
Order
when
by
you
is
just do the group buy, there's a way it placed everything, and then when you included the order buy, there's a way it placed everything. So what's the difference?
okay. Thank you for that question. So order by is just you sorting your data set, your result in a manner, probably in descending order or ascending order. So when I actually put in this query order by, you notice that I'm trying to sort this data based on the customer ID in ascending order. By default, it's going to be in ascending order. That's why this thing is arranging like this. So order by is just the arrangement of your data. Now the group by is just for the aggregation of the data, aggregation of data. So what I'm trying to say is that okay, aggregate the total amount based on each customer. That is what this group by is. So whenever you're aggregating any value. Probably you are using sum, you are using average, you are using count. You have to aggregate. If you are aggregating on the column name you are aggregating on must come to the group by. Do you get what I'm trying to explain?
Okay, I understand now. So the aggregate is by the customer ID, then the
Yes.
order is sorting it through the customer's ID. Okay.
Yes, the result
Thank
too.
you.
Don't think that. Yes, thank you so much. Fiolua, do you understand? Because I really need to understand because you have been there. So everybody that has been on this thing must understand everything that we are going to do in SQL class. So if anybody doesn't understand, no, we are not living here because yeah, everybody must understand. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Let me know if you don't understand.
I think I do. So the first one, because we're aggregating everything, like we are just getting the sum of everything, so we don't have to use the group by to aggregate. But the second one, because we are aggregating based on the customer, so we have to group by the customer,
But
like the
exactly.
column. All right.
Yes. So that is it. That is it. So that is this first part of this query. This is where SQL gets interesting. Other ones we have been talking about is quite straightforward and it's quite easy. Now, I'm going to introduce another concept here now. This we've talked about the where clause before. Who can remind me what the where clause is for? Please, where clause. Who can remind me? Talk about where clause last week. What can you say about the where clause? Who can remind me? Where clause?
It's kind of like a
I think
conditional operator.
What say? Is
It's a
yeah, go ahead,
conditional
please.
operator.
It's a conditional operator, yeah, for filtering your data set. Yes, to filter your data set. Now, where clause and having do the same thing.
excuse
Having
me,
is not
sir. Excuse me,
okay.
sir.
Go ahead.
Can I say that the where clause is used for like filtering?
Yes. Yes, you are very correct.
All right.
Yes, the where clause is for filtering. Yeah. Now, the thing is different between the body where clause. The having also is used for filtering also the data set, but they are used in different ways. Now, whenever you wanted to filter your data on a row basis like this, you want to filter your data row by row, like probably you want to filter out the data that match a particular condition, the rows that match a particular condition. I mean, the original data set, that's when you use the where clause. So what where clause does is it just look at your row and match any and bring out data that matches your condition. That's that one. But having only works to it only filter out aggregated table. The result that has been aggregated, that is when you can use having. For example, now I already aggregated this table, and that is why we have customer ID total amount. The table is aggregated already. Now, if I wanted to filter out this table that is aggregated, then this is where I'm going to use having. I can't use having in this kind of case again. After I aggregate my table, I can't use where clause. So the only thing I can do here to filter out this table that I have here is using the having. And I say having sum of amounts, and sum of amounts greater than 100. So what I'm trying to say is like from this output, from this aggregated table, I only want to filter out. I want to see only the amount that is greater than 100. Probably our what's it called now? Our boss wants to reward only the customer that have spent $100 and above, and give them like a coupon or something like that, or buy one get one free, kind of things like that. So if I want to do that, I'm just going to run this. So this one is only going to filter out only the customer that have spent. What's it? Okay, having sum of amounts greater than should be yeah. So yeah. Let's see where my missing. You can see now. This is only bringing in the customer that have actually spent $100 and above. Every other one that has spent less, it has filtered them out. So that is the difference between the having and the where clause. If I want to use the where clause, I can only use the where clause when the table is not aggregated. Like look at something like select star from payment where look at this where amount is equals to or greater than maybe $1 or $1.99. This query is different from this query. Like, can you see that now? Please do you understand this having and where clause? This is another part that you need to understand. Aisha is not in this call. Is she on this call? Oh God. Any question on this having and wear clothes, please. If you don't understand it, just see it. We're here to learn and we're going to break it down once you understand. Because we already invested in so much time. So anyone, if you don't understand this part, just let me know.
Not related to this part, but I have to go. So I wanted to let you know that I tried the superstore sales thing. I'm getting the same error.
You're getting the same error.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
All right. I have to. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So any other question, any other person, like any other, any other one? I'm going to look into the superstore data set. Probably we are missing something or we don't get it critical right. I'll figure it out, and whatever it is I get, I'm going to share with you on the page. So anyone, so we all understand the having and the group or the wear close. So that's fine. Let's move on. Now we've talked about the sum. Now we can use different types of aggregate on this data set. We can use the average. So let me just say select average, select customer ID, and average, that's AVG amount from. So this one is also going to form payments group by customer ID. So if I run this now, so this one is going to give me the average amounts that each customer has spent, and this is the average amount that each customer has spent so far. So that is just what aggregate function does. They just sum up this thing, aggregate based on the column. They just like take large amount of data sets and just match them together to just give you like a big value. So that is the aggregate function. And whenever you're using aggregate function, most especially if you're aggregating on a column, it has to follow by group by. If I put payment something here, let's say for example, I put maybe what other columns we have here now? Let me check. I think staff ID. So if I put staff ID here, probably I'm aggregating based on staff ID. And let me use the other one. Probably I'm aggregating based on staff ID too. All the column that comes before the aggregate function must appear in the group by. Do you understand now? So then, comma, I have to now put staff ID. So what this one is going to do is it's going to sum this thing based on the customer ID and the staff ID level. If I run this, I'm going to get this. What's going on here? No, it's not here. So it should be here. So this is staff ID. So I'm going to run this. I run this now. You can see now I'm actually getting, so it's getting it based on customer ID and staff ID. And what this one is trying to say is that this total amount that this particular staff, because they have two staffs, this total amount that this particular staff has actually received from this particular customer. Probably this is the number of times that he has attended to this particular customer, this is the total amount he has received from it. Stuff like that. So that is just this what it's all about. And that is aggregate function. Now the next one we want to talk about now is count. Count is of two types. We have the count and we have the count distinct. So count is just to count the number of occurrences, like number of times that something occur in your data set. An example is probably I want to know the total number of rows that we have. I can do something like select count star from payments. So that will give you the number of rows that you have here. So that's count. And we have like 14,596 payment transaction. So that's that. Now, count can actually be used for individual columns also. Let's say, for example, I want to know the total number of staffs that we have. I can do select count staff ID as total staff from hold on, total staff from payments. I run this. I'm getting 4,956. We don't have 4,956. I'm sorry, 14,596 customer staff. We are not that, the company is not that big. No company can, especially like dividend renter, cannot have like 14,596 what's it called now, staff. So, and I'm very, very sure that is not a total number of staff, but he's returning this. What do you think I'm missing here? You can just come in here and tell me like what you feel like is missing in this code, in this query. Why do you think he's returning this type of thing?
Well, I think you have to use distinct counts.
Thank you so much. So it's because we have to put distinct there. Now, this is what you are going to get when this is just the explanation of distinct count and ordinary count. Distinct count is only going to count the unique values, while aggregate count is just going to count the number of rows that you have there. Sorry, ordinary count is just going to count the number of things that you have there. Now, how do you introduce distinct count? You just have to put distinct count inside the bracket, distinct. You can see now we have two stars. So that is just the difference between the distinct counts and ordinary counts. And I want you to know this is very, very important whenever you're using you are doing your aggregate your table. So that's that. Now moving on to the next one that we want to talk about for today before we actually call it a day. Now we're going to talk about the mean and max. And I'm very, very sure we are all familiar with that one. The mean and max. Then I'm going to talk about case preview before I call it a day. Then I can just work on the super story and let you know. So the mean and max. What is mean and max? The mean and max is just you returning the minimum value and maximum value. So select max. Let's, for example, I want to know the maximum amount that customer has spent. Okay. Select maximum amount. As max amount from payments. That's that. Now I can also change this into minimum amount now. Now I have a question for all of us while I'm done with this. I want to see how we are going to respond. Like, whether you're following me. So this is the minimum amount. That's that one there. Let's say, for example, now, the CEO of the company wants to reward the most valuable customer. So the most valuable customer is the customer that has spent the most. You understand me? Like the most amount in the company, that is, they have actually been transacting for a while, that have actually spent the most amount. How do I bring out the customer alone? Information alone from the payment table. The customer that has spent the maximum amount so far. The company. How do I get that kind of information out? Who can tell me this? Who can go ahead and explain this to us? Do you understand my question? Do you all understand my question? You have to talk.
No.
You don't understand the question. So the question is this: we are DVD rentals now, so we rent out movies. Now we want to do a kind of maybe end of the year promo. So we want to invite the most valuable customer in our that has been transacting with us. What I mean by most valuable customer, I'm talking most valuable customer in terms of like transaction value that spent the most. That's the most valuable customer. So we want to actually invite that customer and probably take him on a trip or stuff like that. Now, I want to bring out the information of the most valuable customer from the payment table to know the customer and total amount the customer has spent. Just the most valuable customer. How do I get that out? How do I do that in my SQL query? How do I write the query? Do you understand the question now? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think the first thing we'll do is to do select customer ID, then the sum of the amount total. Then
Okay.
you now do select maximum from there.
Okay, that's one way to do it. So let me just quickly bring in what you did. Although there's a better way to do this, but I just want to actually ask you based on what we've learned so far, how we can bring it down out. Select.
Well, I think we can use limit 1.
Okay, that's another way to do it. Now, based on what is explained, based on what we've talked so far, I feel like limit 1 is the best way. We can use maximum, but if we use let me just try the maximum part now. Let's try the two and see how it works. Customer ID, comma, sum, amount, from, let's say this total amount. From payments. So if I do this now if I run this, it's giving me the total amount. So I have them. This total amount. What's going on? Okay, group by. You can see now. We have this. We have this thing here now. Now I want to bring out the maximum amount. Now I can't really. You think I'm still going to wrap maximum around this? Sorry, what's the first person name that talk? I think it's Session, right? Yeah. So if I run this now, you think this will work?
No.
I don't think this will work. So
No.
yeah, there's a way we can do it, but I just want us to like use what we've learned so far. There's a way we can definitely there's a better way we can do it. But based on what we've done so far, the other brother said we should use limit, right? Limit 1.
No, I think you should first arrange it
Okay.
or descending order, then use limit 1
Thank you so
to
much.
know the
That's what
highest.
yes, exactly. So order by what am I ordering it by?
Order
Total
by
amount.
customer ID. No, total amount, sorry.
Total amount. So is it descending order, ascending order?
Descending order.
So yeah, thank you so much. So if I'm ordering the descending order, it's going to be DESC. So that's descending order. Yeah. So if I run this now, yes, this is the customer that has spent the most. Customer 148, and he has spent $211. And this is one of the ways we can do this. Based on what we've learned so far, Sha, this is the way we can bring this in out. Do anybody understand what we just did now? Because it should be an interactive class. Yes. All right. So those people that are in this class, everybody that is this must understand. Talking about Paul, Peace, Farhana, Felua, Son, Aisha, everybody understand, right?
Yes.
Great. So moving on. Now that is just the basic thing we have on group by and limits and everything like that. So our next thing approach to this kind of thing now is going to be on answering questions. So I'm going to get questions out. We've learned how to use the functions. We've learned how to combine the functions. We've learned when to use this, when to use other one. Now the best way you can actually learn is now to start answering questions with this thing that you've learned, like answering some question with data set you have. Now the last one I'm going to talk about before we move to answering a question is case. So now case is a function in Excel that it's actually a conditional or if statement in what's it called in SQL. Just like those that are very good with Python. Yes, I'm talking about Felua, yes, because I know you're very good with Python. And some other people that are very good with Python, when you're writing your conditional statement, if this is this, do this, if that is that, do that, if that is that, is that. So SQL also has its own way of doing that. And one of the ways you can do that is using the case statement. You get that now? So one of the ways of doing that is using case statement. So let me now quickly go back to our not Danny Zana, for example. Now if you check the sales table, select star from sales. If I run this, notice that we have product ID. The product name is not there. Please, I want you to pay attention to this part. And if you check the menu, we have the product name. Now, the product ID 1 is sushi, right? Product ID 2 is curry, and product ID 3 is ramen. Now, I want to write a query that is going to append the product name of this product name of this product. Product name of this product into the sales table, whereby I'm going to have a column in this sales table that is going to be product name and give the name of the product ID that is attached here. Now we already know the name of the product. That the first one, which is the product ID one, is sushi. Product two is curry. Product ID three is ramen. Now I can use conditional statement to actually create another column in the sales table that is going to bear the product name. And I can do that using the case statement, conditional statement. That is, okay, if A is equal to this, return this. If this is equal to return this. So that's the same thing we are going to do here now. So in this case, I'm going to do select star because I want to return all the columns. Then I'm going to put comma and use case. Case. Whenever you want to start anything here, you have to start with case. Case is just like a if. Then after the case, then you start with when. When is your condition? Case is the if. When you write the if statement, the first thing that comes is the condition. So case, when product ID is equals to 1, that is, if this condition is true, then this is what you need to do. Return this. Then you should return what? What's the name of the product ID 1? Sushi. Then return sushi. Another one, because another one condition, when, so you put another condition like when the product ID is equals to 2, then you should return what?
Curry.
Yeah, thank you.
Curry.
Yeah, thank you. Curry. So now, since there's no more condition, I can put 3 here, right? If there's more product ID in my list, it's better I put 3 there. But if there's no 3, I can just say else. Else what? Then you should return what? Ramen.
Enders ramen.
What do you say?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
saying ramen. Ramen.
Okay. Yeah. So then you end your query. You end your condition. You put end. You have to, like, whenever you start a query, when you're done here, you have to put end. Then you rename the column. You rename the column as, that's alias. You give the column a name as product name. Now look what this thing is going to do now. It's going to create a new column, product name, giving it the names of this thing. So let's run this. Look at it. Sushi, curry, ramen, curry, like that. So this is one of the ways you can use the case statement in SQL. Please, do everybody understand this part? If you don't understand, let me know. So this is the last one I want to explain for today. So I will welcome questions now. So if anybody doesn't understand any part, please, this will be the best time to ask your question. Okay, all right, you all understand. Okay, Petty, go ahead. And I think these two.
Sorry, the network went out. So the last part that you just took now, I didn't understand it because I'm just coming in now.
Okay, so you mean the case statement, this conditional statement that we just wrote down?
Yes.
So now what I'm trying to say is this. If you check the original sales table, let me just run the sales table for you to see what is there. Select star from sales star. Notice that I have the product ID, then I have, so what I want to do now is this. Based on this product ID, I want to create another column that is going to give the corresponding column name to this product ID. You understand? As in the table. So for us to do that, we can only match it since we already know the name of the product based on the product ID, because product ID 1 is sushi, product ID 3 is curry, product 3 is ramen. Then we can write a conditional statement.
Hello.
Hello, I guess we lost him. I can't hear him. Yeah, I can't hear him as well.
Okay, I thought it was only
Yes,
me.
I think we lost him.
He's having network issues.
I feel like someone can just explain. At least that one we can uh check our understanding of that last part, rather than just being quiet. I don't know. Just my suggestion, though.
I think that's okay. If anyone understand, please you could help me explain.
I think what the um, case statement was used for in that scenario is to um, solve the issue of ambiguity. You know, when you look at that table, you find that you're seeing integers that are mapped to items on the menu. And then if you don't use the case statements, you find yourself flipping back and forth trying to have a view of what the table is saying. But with the case statement, you are able to interpret what the integer product IDs represent, so that on just looking at the view after you have used the case statement, you now know what the product IDs represent on the menu. But my only question is, because sometimes when you do these things, they are temporary. They don't permanently alter the table. I want to know if the case statement permanently alters the table, so that that column is not a temporary column, like is a permanent column, or when you write the case statement, you only use it temporarily for that activity that you're doing or that you are carrying out. So that's the reason my own hand was up, to find out if it's a temporary thing or if it permanently alters that table.
Okay.
It's permanent. It's permanent.
It's
Uh,
permanent. Okay.
okay. No, the thing is
Yeah.
this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So whenever all the query that you are writing now, no, nothing is actually affecting your table unless do that on your own. You understand now? So whenever we are writing a query, our query will not affect our table. We are just like aggregating the table and it's returning the result for us. Unless I intentionally just say, okay, change it. Like for example, I now insert the results into the table. That is when it can actually make an adjustment. I get the question that is it Betty? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, so is it Betty? So I get the question you're trying to say. So it's until you actually make it permanent. It can't be permanent. You can't change it. So if I write a query now, the query will not affect the original table. It's just the output that is affecting. But if I want to write the query into the table, then that's when it can affect it. So this one cannot affect the original table. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So that is that one. Okay, sorry for the breakdown. Any other question before we call it a day from what we discussed today? I'm going to check the superstore and see what is the problem. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm going to look into
Sorry,
it.
sir. You were about explaining the last part of the code that is a query
Okay,
before you
the
lost
next
you.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, so the thing I'm trying to say, you get it to this point that case when product ID is equals to 1.
Is anybody hearing me? Oh, am I the only one?
No, 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 no. I think it's his network.
No, we can hear you.
I can hear you. I think it's
Okay.
his network. Network is a bit unstable.
Sorry, let's just call it a day. My network is really bad. So sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yes. Please, I'm going to share the. Betty, do you get the explanation I made? I was like trying to make.
No, sir. Like every time you try to like explain,
I
the
don't
network
know.
just
Hold on.
cuts.
Let me quickly explain before I. Let me just quickly explain them. Now, what I'm trying to say is this: product ID, right? If you check the sales column, okay. Am I sharing my screen? No, I'm not sharing my screen. Hold on. Okay, so if you check the sales column, look at what we have. We have the customer name, customer ID, order date, and product ID. So we want a situation whereby we want the product name of each product here as another column in our output. That is why we are writing this key statement, a conditional statement. And the conditional statement says select star, that is, you select everything from the table. Now, this is where we are creating the product table, product name column. So we are creating the product name column using the product ID. That is, we know that each product ID has their name from this. That when the product ID is equal to 1 is sushi, when it's 2 is curry, and when it's 3 is ramen. Now we are going to write a case statement. Case when the product ID is equal to 1, then you should return sushi as the product name. Tell us when it is product ID is equal to 2, you should return curry. And when all these conditions, when it's not 1 or 2, then you should return what? Ramen. And that is what this one is doing. We end our code and say as product name, we name it as product name. So if we run this, we are going to get the product name as added column to it based on the product ID. Do you get that?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I get it now. Thank you,
All
sir.
right. You're welcome. So this is where we are going to actually stop for today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to send the recording tomorrow, and I'm going to work on the what's it called superstore data set and share with us whatever it is that I feel like is okay. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening of the anything like that. Thank you
All
so much.
right. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, see you next week Sunday.
All right.
Thank you
And
very
please
much.
let's try on something like let's practice. I can come up with a question for us. Without if I figure out the superstore, so I can actually try. So let's just work it in. All right now. Thank you so much, guys. All right, bye.